I met a gypsy.
Like, I'm thankful, like, had my parents, like, my grandpa, and specifically, like, if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have my mom and dad, like, they couldn't afford a dirt bike. So it was like my grandpa, like, definitely helped pave that way for me. But at that time, like, my dad was still racing flat track on and off, and you know, it was just that upbringing of not getting everything handed to you. If that makes any sense, like, having to, like, work for it a little more. And, like, I never even cared to, like, there's never once in my mind where I'm like I guess you can go back to, like, I came across some preschool videos, like, when I was back at home last time, and it was like me graduating from preschool, and it's like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I was like, I want to be a professional dirt bike rider, and I just, like, slid down the slide, you know what I mean? And it's, like, crazy to think, like, fast forward 20 years or whatever, and I'm here, like, it's crazy. But never in a million years would I have thought, like, with no sponsors and, like, trying to do it and going to these amateur nationals and getting fucking smoked, you know? Like, I came across, like, a results list the other day, or, like, when I was home that last time, and just seeing how many gnarly dudes are in my class, like Villapotos and so many, the last, like, 10 years of professional racing, it's like those dudes were all in my class, you know? It's like so hard to compete with. So it's always, to me, it was like, I'm just doing this because I enjoy it, you know what I mean? And it got to the point where I was just like, you know, for a while I got over it, and then you know, I started realizing, like, I worked a job and realized the value of a dollar, and I'm like, screw that. Like,
what work did you do? When was that?
I did so I got, like, 16 to 18, I think. Over 2 years, I installed hardwood floors.
Yeah, right. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so just my parents are in the industry, so just worked for one of my dad's installers, and yeah, just shit sucked.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, at that point, like, you know, moved down south, met Walt, all those guys, and whatever. But I think just from where I was from and knowing all that, like, nothing was handed to me. Like, I had to kind of just, like, work for everything that, you know, or just let my actions speak more than anything. And, like, to be honest, like, I was never really thought ever that I would get to this point ever. And then fast forward, like, there's 2 years when I started working. Fast forward 2 years after that, when I was 18, I'm like, oh, like, my grandpa was still willing to help me. Like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, I want to go ride, you know? And went out there and did some amateur nationals, and then it was like, okay, by that point, like, by the time I won Loretta's in 2010, it was like, okay, like, it might be somewhat feasible, like, at least to just, you know, make ends meet and ride my dirt bike. It's all I want.
A couple years on the circuit.
It's all I want to do, man.
Yeah.
Like, I just want to ride my motorcycle and have fun. Like, so, you know, it got to that point, like, realized that I could probably do it. And then I just kept plugging away, man. And I did everything that, you know, you're supposed to do. Like, well, you gotta train, and I moved to Southern California, like, moved in with Ryan Walters, like, him and his family took me under their wing, and like, dude, love them to death for that, because if I wouldn't have had that, I would have never, like, at that time I was driving down south every other week, and I'd literally just sleep in the back seat of my van.
Yeah, because, like, when we met, you weren't actually staying at Walt's because they didn't even have that. Or did you stay at the Yorba Linda house before?
I stayed at the Yorba Linda house for a short time, and then went straight to
the new house,
the Canyon Lake house. Like, and then Dad and Ryan's dad and brother were still living at the Yorba Linda, so it was like you said, we just had the whole house to ourselves.
Fuck, that was so fun.
So fun. In Canyon Lake too.
We had a time.
We had a time for